A recording sat in a police evidence room in Manassas, Virginia, for 22 months. 5 hours long. Nobody opened it. While it sat there, the woman whose laptop made it was charged with murdering her husband. She was denied bond twice. She spent 4 months in a jail cell. She was offered 15 years in prison, and she said no. 6 days before her trial, someone finally opened that file. 3 days later, the state ended its own case. She is free. There will be no trial. She lost 2 years of her life waiting for somebody to press play. On October 21, 2024, LaToya Crabbe called 911. Her husband was in the lower level of the house, shot dead. She had fired the gun. She has never denied it. She was 34, a lieutenant commander in the U.S. Public Health Service, a military pharmacist, and a mother of 3. Curtis Crabbe was 36. They married in 2019 and lived in the lower level of her parents' house. What Curtis did for a living is not in a single report. His family has never spoken about him in public. Both stations asked more than once and got no answer. What is on the record is this: LaToya's brother confronted him about not taking care of his children. 2 months before that day, she asked him for a divorce. Her mother gave him 30 days to move out. She said she shot him to stay alive. For 22 months, the state said that was not true. 2 days before the shooting, Curtis sent her these.
He sent her daughter a series of text messages that read in part, "Answer my call," or "I'm going to go." Text messages that read in part, "Answer my call," or "I'm going to go to the house and punch your mother in the face." "Answer my call," or "I'm going to go to the house and punch your mother in the face," followed by, "I will hurt."
The morning of the shooting, she called a domestic violence hotline. The answer she got back was that wait times were unusually high. Manassas police have no record of ever being called to that house. One thing before we start. The recording exists, but it has never been released, and you will not hear it in this video. What we have is the statement the Commonwealth's attorney signed when she ended the case, and in the last minutes you will read it, word for word, all 3 paragraphs. Everything else here is the reporting as it happened, in the order it happened. 8 days after the arrest, a judge denied her bond. Her lawyer appealed. Denied again. She stayed in the Manassas jail. Here is why the state said this was murder and not self-defense. At a hearing in December, the prosecutor put it in 4 words: reloading shows intent. Their argument was simple. A person defending herself fires until the threat stops. A person who stops, reloads, and fires again has made a decision. That was the case. A judge heard it and let it go to a grand jury. In January of 2025, that grand jury was about to decide whether she would stand trial. USA 9 went to see her mother. Watch this one to the end. The phone call in the middle of it is LaToya calling from jail.
Well, next week, a Prince William County grand jury is expected to decide if a Manassas mother will go to trial for murdering her husband. Police say LaToya Crabbe shot and killed Curtis Crabbe in her family's home back in October.
But LaToya's mother says there's a missing piece to what happened. She alleges her daughter acted in self-defense. And for the first time, we're also hearing from LaToya since her arrest. Rafael Sanchez Cruz has the story.
LaToya's mother says this is a case of a woman defending herself and her family. We were just about to interview her when her daughter LaToya Crabbe called from the Manassas jail. She did not talk about the case, but she did have this to say.
Oh, that's my daughter.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from LaToya Crabbe, an inmate at the Prince William Manassas jail.
For the first time, we're hearing from LaToya Crabbe, accused of shooting and killing her husband in her family's Manassas home.
This whole process has been frustrating and overwhelming, and my children are suffering for me being here. trying to prove my innocence. But it's a long process to prove that point.
The point LaToya is trying to prove is that she shot the father of her 3 children in self-defense.
I know my daughter. I know people say that. I know my daughter. She would never hurt anybody. But her life was on the line. It was either her life or his life.
LaToya Crabbe is charged with second-degree murder.
They're alleging that she reloaded the gun, and that's why they've denied bond twice.
Right.
What do you respond to those allegations?
Maybe she did reload, and she shot him as many times as it took to stop the threat.
Curtis and LaToya got married in 2019 and were raising their children in the lower level of her parents' home. LaToya's mother, Marilyn Martin, says things changed when her daughter asked Curtis for a divorce in August.
There were red flags that I saw that I didn't like. But I don't really get into my children's relationship.
Martin says one of the red flags came after she served Curtis a 30-day notice to vacate the home. She says her son confronted his brother-in-law about not taking care of his children.
She came to me that night and said, "Why did he say that? Are y'all trying to get me killed?" And that it took me back, and I'm like, whoa, she's never used that language.
Martin says the second red flag came 2 days before the shooting, when Curtis allegedly sent her daughter a series of text messages that read in part, "Answer my call, or I'm going to go to the house and punch your mother in the face," followed by, "I will hurt everyone in that house," then set it on fire, and finally, "I'm taking the kids. You will never see them." Martin says her daughter was experiencing domestic abuse.
Why didn't she do something? Well, she did. She prevented those 5 murders.
Manassas City Police say they do not have records of them responding to domestic violence calls in the family's home prior to the deadly shooting. Martin says that morning, her daughter tried contacting a domestic violence group who sent her this alleged text message that reads, "Currently, we're experiencing unusually high wait times and have limited availability for live services."
You can't judge what you would do if you're not in that situation.
We reached out to the Prince William County Commonwealth's attorney for comment. She tells us that in order to ensure a fair trial for the defendant, her office will not comment on pending cases. We also tried reaching out to Curtis Crabbe's family multiple times, but we did not get a response. An online memorial describes him as a dedicated family man and a proud, loving, and doting father to his children.
That was January. On February 21st, after 4 months inside, she walked out on bond. NBC4 was waiting at the jail. This is the day she came home, and the first time she talked about what happened in that room.
For the first time, we are hearing from a Manassas mother of 3 who is accused of fatally shooting her estranged husband. LaToya Crabbe arrested and charged with murder in October.
She was just reunited with her family after she was released on bond. She spoke with our Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Julie Carey, and she has more on her emotional reunion, but her attorneys advised that she not talk about the specifics of the case.
LaToya Crabbe's first steps out of the Prince William County Jail in 4 months, walking straight into the arms of her mother, the tears starting even before the hug.
I saw her to the side and immediately started crying. I could not help myself, started crying. I was so happy to see her.
Once at home, more reunions, more embrace. LaToya Crabbe was arrested and jailed October 21st after Manassas police say she shot her estranged husband multiple times in the couple's bedroom. Crabbe's defense attorneys say the fatal gunfire came just days after Curtis Crabbe allegedly sent threatening text messages. One reading, "I'm not playing around. I will hurt everyone in that house, then set it on fire." LaToya says she acted in self-defense. Her attorneys say Curtis cornered her holding a knife. She says behind bars, initially in solitary confinement, she felt hopeless.
Honestly, there was a point where I almost thought I should have just let him kill me.
But she says once she could start reconnecting with family and friends through calls, letters, and video visits, her resolve changed to be with her kids again.
Everybody who knew me and automatically believed that, I wouldn't have ever done anything except for in self-defense. It changed my hopefulness and mentality about the situation, that I'm very grateful that I'm still alive, that all of my family members are still alive.
LaToya Crabbe is due back in court Thursday, where prosecutors say they plan to dismiss the murder charge she's currently facing, but they also say then they plan to take their evidence to the grand jury next month and seek a first-degree murder indictment. Prosecutors say they recently received evidence showing ring camera video taken around the time of the shooting had been erased. LaToya's family says the cameras are in a living room area, not the bedroom, and only recorded when there was motion. With so much uncertainty ahead, LaToya says she's focused right now on spending as much time as possible with her children. They haven't noticed the ankle monitor beneath her clothing.
And we're just, taking full advantage of the time that we have because we don't know how much time that's going to be. So I try to hope for the best and just prepare for the worst case scenario.
LaToya says she's hopeful if her case goes to trial, evidence will show she acted in self-defense and that she'll regain her freedom for good. In Manassas, I'm Julie Carey, News 4.
Now, LaToya Crabbe's attorneys say prosecutors offered her a chance to plead guilty and get no more than 15 years in prison. She turned it down.
3 days after she walked out, she sat down with Fox 5. It is the only time she has ever spoken about that day on camera. While she was talking, prosecutors were preparing to make the charge worse.
Tonight takes us to Manassas. Tonight, a woman charged with shooting and killing her estranged husband is speaking with Fox 5. She's now out on bond after arguing she acted in self-defense. Fox 5's David Kaplan live in Manassas tonight with the story. David.
Yeah, Kenneth, good evening to you. Look, LaToya Crabbe would not discuss the particulars of what happened in the basement of her home that she shared with her husband, Curtis, and their 3 kids and her parents. This shooting happened on October 21st. But she was adamant in speaking to us today, and her family has consistently said that she was acting in self-defense. She told me she believed her life was in danger.
I thought I was going to die. I was very confident I was going to die. I mean, even me being arrested, the fact that my only choices that day were to either die or go to jail is not a fair choice to put somebody through.
LaToya Crabbe says she was in the process of getting a divorce. Her mother said that, trying to evict Curtis from the home as well. And days before the shooting, Curtis Crabbe allegedly sent a text to LaToya saying he would hurt everyone in the house, then set it on fire, adding that she'd never see their 3 kids again. Multiple attempts at bond were denied over the course of the last couple months until Friday. In short, prosecutors announced their intention to not prosecute the second-degree murder charge she now faces because they plan to upgrade to a first-degree murder charge. Why? Prosecutors allege that LaToya deleted ring camera footage from inside the home shortly after the shooting, arguing that shows premeditation. LaToya's attorney, though, denies that and says even if it were true, that it does not prove any premeditation. So while LaToya Crabbe waits for a possible first-degree murder charge, the judge allowed for her to be out on bond. Crabbe tells me she knows she could be in jail again if or when that charge comes and is eager to resolve this.
I want to be able to have my day in court and prove my innocence. And I want to do that as quickly as possible so that I can know that I can be here for my children, that I can go back to being able to financially provide for ourselves and, just put the case behind me.
Fox 5 has made multiple attempts to reach someone in Curtis Crabbe's family since this happened. They have turned down our requests and did so again today. LaToya Crabbe's defense team has argued that the Commonwealth is also acting in bad faith and has consistently argued that the charges should be dropped, believing prosecutors are delaying this case to keep LaToya Crabbe in jail. The Commonwealth's attorney declined to comment on the specifics of the case, but pushed back against that argument from Crabbe's defense attorneys, saying there are times where new evidence comes to light and charges are amended. They say that is what has happened here. We'll certainly stay ahead of any developments in this case. Kenneth.
In March of 2025, a grand jury indicted her for first-degree murder, premeditation, planning, a life sentence if a jury agreed. Their reason for going from murder to planned murder was one thing: Prosecutors said that after the shooting, she deleted video from the Ring camera inside the house. Someone who erases the recording, they argued, is someone who knew what she had done. Her lawyer answered that she deleted nothing, and that even if she had, it says nothing about what happened before the shot. Her family said the camera was in the living room, not the bedroom, and it only recorded when something moved in front of it. Prosecutors offered her a deal, plead guilty, serve no more than 15 years. She said no. Then everyone waited. The trial was set for August 17, 2026, 17 months away. She spent them at home, on an ankle monitor, with a first-degree murder charge over her.
Charges for killing her estranged husband. LaToya Crabbe is now charged with first-degree murder for shooting Curtis Crabbe back in October. This morning, she was in Prince William County Court. Rafael Sanchez Cruz was inside that courtroom and has the latest.
LaToya Crabbe was initially charged with second-degree murder. Those charges were dropped last week. Prosecutors were not ready to go to trial, but now she's facing first-degree murder charges after being indicted yesterday by a grand jury. Marilyn Martin thought that by this week, her daughter's legal battle would be over. LaToya Crabbe's trial for second-degree murder was supposed to take place this week.
She had to fight for her life, and now she's still fighting for her life.
The fight playing out in Prince William County Court, where on Monday, Crabbe was indicted on first-degree murder charges. In new court documents, prosecutors say back in October, the mother of three willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation murdered her husband, Curtis Crabbe, inside the Martins' Manassas home.
I know my daughter. Her family knows her. Her friends know her. She would have never done this if her life was not in danger.
That danger forcing her daughter to shoot her estranged husband in self-defense, according to Martin.
They have the evidence that this man threatened us 3 days before he came.
Prosecutors accused LaToya Crabbe of deleting security footage from the day of the shooting.
There was no video to delete, so it's just a delay tactic.
LaToya Crabbe was released today on a $10,000 bond. She turned in her passport and will be monitored by an ankle bracelet. Now, in an effort to maintain a fair trial, the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office says they don't comment on pending cases. In Manassas, Rafael Sanchez Cruz, WUSA 9.
17 months went by. On August 11, 2026, 6 days before the trial, prosecutors and Manassas police opened the file on her laptop. 3 days after that, they walked into court and ended their own case. This is how it was reported the night it happened.
A murder charge has been dropped against a Prince William County mother after new evidence came to light just days before she was set to stand trial.
LaToya Crabbe was arrested for shooting and killing her husband back in 2024. She says it was self-defense after he threatened her with a knife.
Well, a new recording unearthed by prosecutors is what led them to drop the charge during an emergency hearing this morning. News 4's Jessica Albert was there and spoke with Crabbe's mother in an interview that you'll see only on 4.
LaToya Crabbe's family leaves the Prince William County Courthouse smiling as her nearly 2-year legal battle comes to a close. She was charged with first-degree murder for shooting and killing her estranged husband, Curtis, in 2024. That charge dropped by prosecutors Friday after they found a crucial audio recording in the case. This is Crabbe's mother, Marilyn Martin.
We are happy that we don't have to continue to endure this hanging over her head and going to trial next week.
Crabbe has long maintained she shot her husband in self-defense, saying he threatened her with a knife and sent texts threatening her family. We interviewed her while she was out on bail last year.
I tried to hope for the best and just prepare for the worst case scenario.
According to court filings obtained by News 4, on August 11th, 6 days before Crabbe's case was set to go to trial, prosecutors gained access to an encrypted audio recording taken on Crabbe's government-issued laptop. She worked for the U.S. Public Health Service at the time of her husband's death. Crabbe's attorneys say in the 5.5-hour recording, you can hear the clear, distinctive, chilling sound of the switchblade recovered at the scene springing open. as well as threats Curtis Crabbe allegedly made before he was shot. After reviewing that evidence, prosecutors filed a motion to drop the charge, which a judge granted. The Commonwealth's attorney released a statement saying the recording introduces significant evidence that a reasonable jury could interpret as supporting a claim of lawful self-defense.
Crabbe's attorneys were fighting for this case to be dismissed with prejudice so that she would never be able to be charged in this matter again, and so that the case would not be hanging over her head for the rest of her life. However, in court, prosecutors did say they have no intention of bringing the charge back.
We're happy. It doesn't sound like it's ever coming back, but the chance that it could be brought back in the future is just, she shouldn't have to live under that.
Crabbe's mother feels the same way as her attorney, but is just thankful this deeply painful chapter is over.
She's got to try and get her life together. She has not been able to heal. Sorry. She has not been able to heal from the trauma from this event.
This 5-hour recording captured the extensive conversations and events immediately leading up to the shooting incident. Because this newly available evidence creates a reasonable doubt regarding criminal intent, the Commonwealth cannot ethically proceed with the prosecution at this time. A prosecutor's highest ethical duty is to seek justice, which requires a continuous and objective evaluation of all evidence throughout the life of a case. Commonwealth's Attorney Amy Ashworth, August 14, 2026.
Marilyn told me she's not heard it yet, but was told what's on it.
You could clearly hear him threatening her and opening the knife, and he's coming towards her, and then you hear a shot.
Marilyn doesn't understand why it took so long for investigators to decrypt the file, but said she believes it sends a clear and dangerous message.
To the survivors, Vic, you don't have the right to fight.
Now, should any additional evidence change their mind, prosecutors could try to recharge LaToya. Understandably, she was not up for an interview tonight, but her mother told me she is focused now on healing from this trauma, taking care of her 3 kids, and working to get her job back.
The laptop was taken out of that house on day 1. It sat in evidence through 2 indictments, 2 bond denials, a plea offer, and 22 months of her life, until someone opened it 1 week before trial. I'll say my one piece and leave it there. In my opinion, evidence that sat in an evidence room for 22 months is not new evidence. It was there the whole time. But I'm not a judge, so you decide, was this a system failing one woman for 2 years, or prosecutors doing exactly what the rules ask of them the moment they could? 2 answers. Pick one in the comments. The recording itself has never been made public. If the state ever releases it, you will hear it on this channel. Thank you for watching to the end.